The countdown to Expo is on, 8 days and counting. We'll chat about the preparation process and a discussion with Mikey Singer, the coordinator of the show, and we take a peek at the Hockey Card Stock Exchange. This is episode 26 of the Hockey Card Haven podcast. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome. This is the Hockey Card Haven podcast with myself, Mike Distefano, and my co-host, Anthony Santini, here to dive deep into the world of hockey card collecting, flipping, and investing. Anthony, we're 8 days away from the Toronto Sport Card Expo. You feeling ready, Mr. Vendor?
Ooh, hey, I'm feeling ready. I'm trying to get ready. I've been pretty much the last 3 days really dialed in because the expos come so fast. I'm ordering the display cases. I'm getting the boxes ready. $1 bin, $5 bin, everything for the display cases. We got for behind us, we got the tall shoe racks, like the massive racks. We'll be able to put wax on it, anything we need, a little bit of inventory. So I got a good list going on right now to make sure I'm ready. I wouldn't say I'm ready right now, but there's still a week out, so I'm definitely on my way.
You sent me a photo the other day that made me proud. Really did make me proud. Look at this thing.
Hey,
Here's
there
what
we
you
go.
sent me the other day. Anthony Santini from Sports Cards GTA has unbelievable deals that'll be going on in his bin. He's got $1 bins all ready to go, all sorted by team. Look at that. Teams and everything.
Yeah, everything's
Look at
ready to
that.
go. Dialed
Hockey,
in.
football, basketball. He's got it all. So what booth are you at? What's where do people
So
find you?
we just got the email today. So we're gonna be at booth 5606. So a little bit further down from the PSA booth. But if you do come see us and you are walking around Expo, make sure to come by because we're
So you're in the alternate hall.
we're
Not
in
the
the
main hall.
alternate hall. We're on the other side. And make sure because walk around, ask people, where's booth 5606? We're gonna have a lot of good deals. It's myself and also Eric. If you've met Eric before, if you've seen me at a card show, I'm probably with Eric. We're always going together. That's my partner for the shows. And we should have a pretty good booth. I mean, even for that $1 bin too. I was talking to you about it, and there was a lot of cards where I said to myself, like, should I throw this in like the $3, $4, $5 bin? Like, should I save it to post on eBay? But I was like, you know what? If I can give people a pretty good deal, and I feel like there are some gems in these $1 bins, even the $5 bin that I'm working on right now, some cards that I'm like, some comps at $10, but you know what? It is Expo. Let's see if I can put some deals and some value bin flippers looking to get a good deal at the Expo. Hopefully our booth could have that for you guys.
Yeah, and look, I as someone who goes through the value bins a lot, like I obviously there has to be some cards that have like some good value to it, and then
Yeah.
what I think it does is it attracts people to your booth. Like they'll know, like for me, the cards that I've found those gems that I get for $1 that are worth 5, 10, 15. Sometimes there's a card that kind of sneaks through that's worth $20. Like I remember I found a Caitlin Clark card in a $1 bin last year, and she was really hot at the time, but for some reason it was in there. Picked it up for $1, and I think I sold it the next day for like $30 on the show floor. Like it was crazy. So yeah, like and this year my plan is to go right back to that same place to see if I could find some more sweet finds for the $1 bin. So yeah, I think that it's always nice when you get some goodies that you leave behind, the breadcrumbs for people, for the vultures to come in and grab. But it does make for repeat customers, and it makes people usually buy more. They're going to put together a decent stack, not just the one card too. So it allows you to also sell the other stuff as well. So that's kind of a strategy that I have with when I do my value bins as well. So that's nice. That's great. What's this code word thing you got here in the? I need to know what you're referring to in this doc. You got code word the Haven. 10th person gets a prize. What are you talking about?
So honestly, I wanted to do a little bit of a fun interaction thing with the podcast listeners. And if you are listening right now, you will be at Expo. I was going to bring it up next week, but I feel like giving people a chance twice is going to, help them get prepared. But come by our booth, tell us the code, the Haven. And if you do need a second look, maybe you don't recognize me, I will have this little QR code with the pod logo,
Nice.
QR code, all that at my booth. So you'll be able to recognize us. But let us know the code The Haven, and we will be doing a giveaway. I can't show you what it's going to be just yet, but I will show you next week. A little bit of fun for the podcast listeners and the real ones out there. So we just want to make sure if you are coming by, you are a podcast listener, let us know The Haven, and we will be marking it down. 10th person to tell me The Haven gets a little prize. So I'll let you know next week.
Love it. So we've been doing a couple of shows, and maybe we'll throw up our weekly pickups. I guess we could do that and do it now because it kind of goes along with our preparation process for Expo. And someone who, once you found out that you had a table, your buying process became a lot stronger. You said, okay, I got to start getting all the inventory I need and start getting ready. I'm going and heavily buying. And that's what you've been doing over the last couple of weeks. So, like, talk me through that strategy of what the last couple of weeks has been for you since finding out you got that table and what specifically you've been picking up.
Yeah, so pretty much a couple weeks ago, it was confirmed we paid for the table. And right away, I said to Eric, who I'll keep bringing up, he is the person I'll be doing the booth with. All right, we got to start buying now. We got to start getting stuff for the bins, for the display case. We got to get high-end cards. We got to get low-end cards. We got to get Toronto Maple Leaf cards. We need Montreal Canadian cards. We need multi-sport. We need some football. We need some basketball, things where people can be attracted to the table. And like for me personally, I'm not used to really going out to shows, spending a bunch of money on cards that I'm not really used to buying. And that would be, I'll show you in the pickups, but people that know me know that I just buy Young Guns, variations of the Young Guns, future watches, cards to grade, kind of
the basics, like
like
flagship marquee rookie cards. Basically.
Yeah, I keep it really simple because usually if I am going to go to a show, I'll just kind of pick up cards where I can make a quick play on it. If I'm not going to grade it, then okay, it's just for a flip, and I'm going to spend like $70 to sell it for $100, whatever it might be, right? But this time around, I think it was just a lot smarter to pick up like different cards, and I have them right here. So the first one being, I picked up Auston Matthews Precious Metal Gems, and like a perfect example of a card that I usually wouldn't really pick up because I would never really grade something like this unless it looked really, really good.
Yeah,
And
tough grades, right? Really tough grades with the
yeah. So to have it at the Expo, I feel like a card like this in Toronto, Auston Matthews, it's the perfect card to have. The perfect price tag and price range for it. Not a lot of comps either. So I feel like this card should gain a lot of interest. Another one was James Cook. So this is out of 25. Patch auto. Really, really nice card, which usually I don't, like I said, like I'm going to keep saying, I don't pick up things like this. I wouldn't really grade a thicker card like this. Not really into football too much, but James Cook, Bills fans will be there. We know that coming over the border. He's been having a really good season.
Yeah.
I think this is a card that should move pretty easily at the Expo. And worst case, maybe get a good trade offer.
Yeah, I think so.
A third card. This is actually one of my favorite cards I picked up for the Expo. And I feel like, I don't know if it's going to sell, but I feel like I will get some good trade offers on it. But this Auston Matthews out of 3. So this is out of Premier. And this thing,
the picture doesn't do justice. Like because I held this in my hand when you bought it over the weekend, and it's a thick boy. That's a thick boy, my friend. But like, yeah, so like it's got a laundry tag, piece of a jersey, patch. It's got a helmet buckle? I think it's the helmet buckle, I believe.
No, a jersey. Oh, the fight strap. It's the
no. What's it right in the middle? Like there's a buckle.
Oh, I believe this is his from the side of the helmet. So on the side of the helmet, when you strap up.
Yeah, would you not call that a helmet buckle?
Yeah, but I think it's a different name for it. I don't know.
Whatever it is. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
But
it's
a really
sweet card.
Really sweet. I don't think this is something I would ever pick up usually. And when I saw it, I was like, you know what, Auston Matthews. I think it's going to move. There's going to be a lot of interest on this card when it comes to people walking by the booth and even like being able to recognize the booth too. Like I always say to Eric, a number one thing is like when we talk and recap about a show, oh, did you see this card? Oh, do you remember this booth? They had that card. So I'm hoping that maybe throughout the weekend, people could be like, oh yeah, I know where I picked up like those good cards from the value bin. Like it was at the booth where they had like that out of 3 Matthews with like it's like, okay, let's go back there. I remember exactly where that is. It's the really small details where it's not on a surface level. You could kind of come up with that right on the spot, but being able to attend shows for so many years, you just kind of remember the small nitty-gritty
Yeah.
details that might make your table a little bit better than others. So the other two pickups was Nylander, rookie auto. And even for $100, like I think this thing should fly. It is numbered out at 275. And like we know how popular the Leafs and Nylander is.
Oh yeah.
So like just being able to pick up cards like that, very simple, numbered rookie auto. It is a sticker, which isn't great, but people do love obviously their Willie in Toronto. So cards like this was definitely the main mentality.
Question. I know you just going off of that conversation. You said it's a sticker. It's not great. Do you find that that's becoming a lot more difficult of a sell? Like, I feel like sticker autos, like people are becoming more and more opposed to them, but it seems like more and more sticker autos are coming out. Like SPA dropped today. We're going to talk about it, SP
Yeah.
Authentic, in a little bit. And, if you look at a lot of their multi autos cards, like guys there where there's 3 or 4 different autos on the same card, whether it's legends or it's rookies or whatever. A lot of them are now sticker autos because
Yeah.
it's just so difficult for them to get that card into the hands of every single person now. So they're just sending out stickers. And I hate that so much because I'm not really a sticker auto guy. Like I will buy sticker autos and I have sticker autos, but I much prefer on card for sure. And I find that they're much easier to sell. Like I know people where they've walked around, they've looked at my booth, they'll say, "Oh, that's a beautiful card." They pick it up like, "Oh, too bad it's sticker," and they put it right back. They don't even make an offer. They just don't want it. I find that that's kind of a lot of collectors are that way nowadays.
I think it's so different too because you look at a card and you say, "Oh, okay, on card auto, it's been in the player's hand, it's nice and clean," rather than a sticker with the player's given what 500 sheets of 100 empty stickers
Oh,
that they need to
that was
fill out. Like it's just thousands of thousands that they sign and then they get pinned right on the card. I think it does obviously have that extra value to a card that is on card. And you did bring it up at the perfect time because this next card that I picked up, the last one that I really want to showcase, I feel like this is my favorite and biggest card that I'm going to have at the Expo. I'd be really, really surprised if I still have this thing by Friday morning. I think it's going to sell on preview night. It's very popular. And on card auto, because I wanted to make sure it wasn't on card auto. The only reason why I bought it, but a Josh Allen rookie
uh-huh.
auto from Wyoming. Really sweet. And usually you don't really see Josh Allen rookie autos on card for, a price like that. And although it is Wyoming, I know it's not great. I know people want the Buffalo Bills logo and jersey, but I feel
Right.
like this is a card with, vertical, real nice, great photo, great autograph. I mean, that autograph is just awesome. And like we said, on card auto, it is valuable. And I think people will value. And there will be someone out there going to the Expo that is saying,
Is
I really want a Josh Allen on card auto.
the patch game worn, player worn?
So the patch is player worn. So it's not game worn,
Yeah.
but it's player worn. So
Which
obviously not.
which is better than I had an immaculate RPA, and turned it around, looked at the back of it, and it said, "This player," or the contents on this card not associated with the player
Yeah.
or any game. And I'm just like, that's ridiculous
Yeah.
for an immaculate, which is an expensive product, to have RPAs and not even a player worn. It was not associated with any player or specific event. I'm like, these people went out and grabbed a freaking, I think it was a Jackson Smith and Jigba card, went out and grabbed one from like Target, cut it up and put it into a card. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is an expensive product. It was so annoying. So I'm glad that that actually was at least player worn. Would have been great, much better if it was game worn,
Yeah.
but
I mean,
at least it's player worn and not associated with Josh Allen.
yeah. I mean, either way, booth 5606. So if you are interested in this Josh Allen on card rookie auto, it'll be there. Taking
Love it.
trade offers. I mean, I would love to trade into like an Auston Matthews Young Guns, we'll see. But come by, swing by, let's get a deal done.
I think we might be able to swing something, possibly.
Hey, we'll
Possibly.
see.
That
We'll
is a
see.
beautiful card.
I'll have to do that.
Really quickly, we talked about this, or I talked about this a lot with Mikey Singer. We're going to get to that interview in just a minute here. But PSA is going to be on site doing grading, as will M&T Beckett and
KSA.
KSA. Yes,
Yeah.
KSA grading as well. So they'll all be on site. We all know PSA is king though when it comes to the resale market. If you're looking just to get something encapsulated for your PC, you can feel free to go to whichever other one you want. KSA would be your cheaper route, obviously. That being said, if you're looking to flip and invest, PSA is usually the way to go. That said, a little more expensive to go with PSA. It is like $100 a card pretty much for anything valued at 1,200 USD or lower, and then it goes up from there. So even if you have like an $80 card you want to get graded, it's still going to end up costing you $100 plus tax. So uh, it's an interesting kind of dilemma that people have because I think cards have to be at a certain price point to make it worth it if you're looking to grade on site for flipping purposes. And there's going to be a lot of people who are doing that, right? They're going to try and go, shop the show floor, find a Matthews, find a McDavid, find a really sick auto of some kind or a short print of some kind, and they're going to try and go to PSA, flip it, and then take it back to the floor or grade it, take it back to the floor and try and flip it for profit. That's what a lot of people do, and that's how a lot of people make their money. Curious if you plan on taking advantage of this grading service that's going to be on site this year.
I think it's a great, awesome resource to the expo. And like you said, too, it allows for so much opportunity for people to even show up to the expo, pick up a really great card that they think's in great condition, walk in line, wait in line, go to PSA, drop it off, wait a couple hours, wait the next day, whatever it might be, whatever service it is that you pick. And you get that card returned in your hand, slabbed up, and all you have to do is just pay it right on the spot. It's crazy right now with grading. We all know if you've graded before by yourself, with people, it's just ridiculous the wait time sometimes, almost up to 2 months to get your cards back. And to be able to actually go drive to the expo, drop off a card, get it back, it's so valuable. For me personally, I think I'm going to use the resource because it's awesome. We don't really see this at all. It wasn't at the last expo. We don't know if it's going to be at the next expo, which is in April, I believe, or not confirmed.
Yeah, it usually is only at the fall expo, or at least that's the way it's been the last couple of years. I don't know if they're going to make a return in April, but last year they didn't. It was only fall.
Yeah. Yeah, as of right now, personally, there's 2 or 3 cards that I'm on the fence with. I'm going to see what happens when I'm really in the moment. I get all set up. Right now, I'm more just making sure I'm prepared, set up, what we need for food, what we need for cards, inventory, all this stuff. That's what I'm more worried about. And then I think once we're all set up, dialed in, there's 2 or 3 cards that I kind of have my eye on.
I know for a fact you are going to, like, right now you're on the fence, but then what's going to happen is someone's going to come up to you, like the M4 guys or Laffer or someone.
Beauties.
Yeah, they're going to come up to you and they'll be like, "Oh, I did this, I cracked this, I graded this, blah blah blah, got it back, came back at 10, sold it." You're going to hear about the smart plays that people made by grading on site, and you're going to FOMO and you're going to do it. I know for a fact that's going to happen to you.
I mean, it's
I
just
put the over under. I'll put the over under
no.
at like 3.5.
No,
4.5 cards. 4.5.
4.5. Oh,
I'm
hammering the under.
3.5 cards.
All right, I can see that. I can see that. Because
Yeah.
it is, you know what? If you are looking to grade, it is expensive. Don't forget, it's still over $100 a card. But even still,
Which is far more expensive than regular, because regularly to grade it, right? It's only gonna cost you like 30 to 40 bucks if you're grading it regularly. But you got to deal with the postage, you got to deal with the, sending it out and all that. And you got to wait for it. So there's that. So you're paying for the immediacy. And but if you have cards that get up to 6, 5, 6, 7, 800,000, $1,500 cards, then it's worth it more because it costs you 75 bucks to do those cards anyways. So at that point, it's only an extra $25 now for that on-site grading, which makes more sense. Like if you're going to grade a McDavid Young Guns, it's going to cost you 75 bucks to grade it regularly anyway. So that extra $25 allows you to grade it on site and allows you to flip that quickly, instantly at the one place in the world where everyone is looking for a graded
Yeah.
McDavid card, right? So
Yeah.
that it makes the more sense, the more higher end your cards are.
Yeah, we got into a really good conversation last week. So if you're listening right now and you want to see an in-depth conversation about the on-site grading, I know we got to get to the interview soon, but I think there's going to be a lot of people in that line. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people lined up to just, grade cards that they don't want to ship out. We talked about it last week because it's not always about flipping too. People aren't there just to grade
Yeah,
because,
absolutely.
it's a little cheaper compared to time, and when you really all calculate shipping, it's just, quite frankly, people don't want to ship across the border. They just want to hand their card to the
Yeah.
worker and then get it back same day, next day, end of weekend, whatever it might be.
Well, my personal experience, I graded one card so far. I did one card I did on-site grading for, and it was a PC card, and I had no intentions on flipping it. I just wanted to get it in a PSA slab. It's my Topps 1952 Jackie Robinson baseball card, which is a very good card, one of the best baseball cards you can get, and I just wanted to get in a slab so that I had it encapsulated for whatever reason, and there was no plans on flipping it, on selling it, or nothing. I just wanted to get it in a slab,
Yeah.
and I was able to do that for my PC. So, there's also other that reason too to go and get that thing
And
all slabbed up.
And even still, too, if there's anyone listening right now and you're a PSA worker, you're going to be there this weekend. I saw last year you guys doing some promos for Mojo, a
Mhm.
couple of videos. Don't be afraid to reach out. Me and Mike would love to do a little review if you're able to get us with a little hookup. You know what I mean, a little grading thing. We'd love to talk about it a little more. But I'll definitely, I think, be grading for sure.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of, we talk a lot about grading. Also, with this upcoming interview with Mikey Singer, he's an event consultant. He kind of is the man who runs the show, runs the Toronto Sport Card Expo. You will see him just like running around like a chicken with his head cut off all weekend long, trying to wrangle people around and make sure that the weekend goes as swimmingly as possible. And he's done a great job doing it for the last few years here. So we had a chance to sit down and chat with him, which was a fantastic conversation. So we'll play that for you now here. It's Mikey Singer, event consultant for the Toronto Sport Card Expo. Joining us now on the Hockey Card Haven podcast is Mikey Singer, event consultant, and really the man that makes it all work, the man that makes it all tick at the Sport Card Expo. What's going on, Mikey? Good to see you again.
Great to see you too. Good to be here. Not too long until show day. We'll probably be setting up on Tuesday in a week. Tuesday is when we'll be in there.
Yeah, like we're sitting here next Thursday, so this is gonna come out tomorrow. So we're looking at 8 days until Expo finally kicks off. You feel ready? Is the process starting to ramp up for you?
Oh yeah, the process is more than ramped. We're into show mode now. It's going to be pretty hectic from here until actually event day starts on Thursday. Very exciting though. Really excited with everything with PSA coming back and live grading on site again. That's always a huge hit. As you know yourself, where you got that amazing card find and you got it graded on site yourself. And we're adding to the stage. We have over 50 guests coming to the show this year. Show is bigger than it's ever been. We're over 200,000 square feet. So it just continues to be such a force inside the hobby and an incredible event for all hobbyists to attend.
So I'm curious, what is your elevator pitch? Like, how do you sell people on coming to the expo? People who, may have never come before, or they've heard about it, but have never actually done it. What's the elevator pitch you tell people to get people through the door?
It is the be all and end all in sports hobby collecting. If you're a sports fan, this place is for you. If you're a card fan, this place is for you. If you have kids and you want to have a good time on the weekend, this place is for you. There's everything from, millions of dollars in cards to $1 card. So the budget is right. It's not very expensive to come to. Parking is free. And it's usually after the first couple sentences that every parent I talk to at school is, I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the truth is, a lot of my generation and a little bit younger than me grew up in the early card boom. And so to see that hobby come back, it's a very easy sell, which is why a lot of people got back into it during the pandemic when they were stuck at home. And
Yeah.
that boom has continued. Oftentimes, in terms of like sales to exhibitors, I think it's not even about an elevator pitch. It's about finding room for everyone. We typically have a 200-person waiting list of vendors trying to get in. It's tough. It's definitely hard to find enough space for everyone, and obviously the hobby has seen tremendous growth over the last few years.
Oh, it's been unbelievable. Like I've been going to the show now for like 10, 15 years. And when I first started coming to what we just saw last year, and the fall expo, that is the King Daddy topper. Like the spring one's great, it's awesome, but there's something special about the fall expo that's coming up. And I remember last year it got insane. Like it was just so crowded, it was so big, there was so many people. Was it Mike Tyson at that one? And
Yep.
the autograph side, it was incredible, the turnout for that show. And if I'm not mistaken, I think a little birdie told me that you guys have changed. You're in different halls now. So how is that going to impact things?
Yeah, so we talked just briefly a bit about how the show has grown. So to handle that new capacity, we actually had to switch to Hall 2, which is a much larger hall than we were currently in with even 5 and the connector. So we have 2, 3, and 4. So we had to once again revamp the entire floor plan, which is why it's just coming out now, and really work to getting as many of those exhibitors in as possible. As well as the endemic sponsors and elements that are just being added to the show. Obviously, the stage is such a big part of what we do. You'll be up there interviewing a couple people, including a current Toronto Blue Jay, Spencer Horwitz. So we do some great Q&As up there. We do some hobby panels, and we do some giveaways for the kids. So between that, our exhibitors and our autograph area, those 3 elements alone take up a huge amount of space.
Who are you excited for this year?
Me personally,
Yeah.
Joe Carter. Like as a kid who grew up and watched those, watch both of those World Series happen. One when they beat the Braves, I was actually down at the Dome watching on the big screen with my mom. I ran onto the field. So like I have very distinct memories. I was downtown at 13 years old when Joe Carter hit the home run against Mitch Williams. So I remember both of those wins distinctly. Thankfully, I've been able to add one more championship memory with the Raptors taking one home. But it's few and far between when you're a Toronto sports fan.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you, and it hasn't been great. Also watching the Leafs and what they've been doing lately. Good win last night, but
that's it. It's been a tough couple of games leading into it, right? Like it's a tough games. Hopefully, they go on a little bit of a streak leading into the show.
I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say that because it always, when the Leafs are doing well, the show's vibing, and from like we like to talk about the investing, collecting, flipping. Like we kind of touch all points of that on this podcast. And I usually like the hobby is best when Toronto's doing well, right? Like, and especially in Toronto at the Sport Card Expo, like when you've got guys like Matthews or Marner. I remember last year Nylander was going off, and he was a hot seller at the show last year. So it's hilarious how over the course of a weekend, we like to we have a bit on this show called the Hockey Card Sports Exchange, basically just like a stock trading exchange about hockey cards, and it literally performs like that at the show over the course of a weekend. Like, how many times have you seen a guy go off on the Thursday or go off on the Friday, and then you go back to the show the next day, and those cards have brand new stickers on them? And they're not lower. That's for sure. It happens all the time. It's hilarious. I love it.
It's recency bias, right? You look at Matthew Nyes. Matthew Nyes had a strong playoff performance last year, and all of a sudden coming into this year, like you could have got his cards for $20, $10. They were selling they were selling at 10 times what they were prior to his playoff run. Right? Like everyone went in with huge expectations this year.
Artur Silovs was another guy. I remember he at the Fall Expo, somebody came around and was offering me like a clear cut young gun. I think he was like they were looking for $20 or $25 or something for it. And I was like, oh, he's a backup in Vancouver. I'm like, sorry, it's just not really, I'm not interested. That I think it was like either that night or later that day, Thatcher Demko gets hurt and he becomes a starter for Vancouver. And all of a sudden, literally overnight, that card was worth $80. I'm like, dang, I should have bought it. I should have took that card. And that's one of my favorite parts about the hobby is, the stock aspect of it where things kind of go up and down. And it is a lot of fun. You're a big time collector. What do you PC, Mikey?
So specifically Don Russ Optic basketball.
Oh, that's your basketball guy.
Yeah, I'm a big basketball guy. Like I collect a lot of I collect vintage baseball. Really like probably 50s to 80s. And then I collect a lot of basketball, anything I can get my hands on pretty much there. Have some Garbage Pail Kids Series 1. So like collecting since the 90s, stopped for a while, then got back into it. And obviously working at the show definitely affects the collecting mentality. You just can't be among such great hobbyists and not be a little bit affected by it. But yeah, a lot of it is Don Russ Optic. I love busting boxes of Optic. A lot of mega boxes have worked their way through on the Wemby year. And if I can get my hands, anytime I get my hands on a reasonable hobby box or something like that, I'm not one who saves sealed wax.
Yeah, you rip.
If it's in my hands, it's getting ripped.
It's getting ripped open.
Yeah, and that's why I don't take part in breaks that much. I'd rather rip it myself.
I'm the same way. I really, really am. Speaking of breaks, actually, that's an interesting. I know that they do some breaking, like Mint Ink will do breaking, and like they have. Different places will have their own rips and they kind of live record. Like, is that something that you want? I suppose, I think that the eBay set does a little bit of live breaking. They televise it, put it up on the screen too. Like, is that something you want to see more of happening at the show? Like, because breaking's becoming quite a big part of the hobby over the last like 3-4 years.
I love seeing that, especially the high production aspect of it. So, if you take Mint Ink, for example, one of the things I love about them is they got the music going. They've got a real energy to what they're doing. There's multiple camera angles going on. There are multiple platforms. They're really engaging with their breaks. So I think that's only a positive. So when I see, progression and innovation inside that space, I think that's only a help for the hobby. And then I love what eBay is doing on our show floor. Having that big stage, they're doing hobby content, they're doing player interviews, they're doing breaks for kids, they're doing breaks for adults, or as we like to call them, big kids. So it's really a great time for everyone down at the booth, and all the endemic sponsors that come in make the show look better and bring it to a higher level and bring up the professionalism. The show will always be based on that, table of exhibitors who have those cars, because that's really still at the end of the day, that's what people are there for. So many kids want to go through the single boxes. So many parents or kids big even want to go through. Big kids
do that.
Big kids love to do that. So, and then trading and selling. There's a lot that happens on the show floor. Outside of those endemic sponsors, but they add to the event. They really do. And that's what you're seeing a major difference between, 10 years ago to today.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say this though. I was talking about it with the guys over on the Gong Show. I was guest hosting last week, and I was saying one thing I do expect this year though, that we unfortunately didn't see a whole lot of at last year's spring show. More specifically, I think we'll see a lot more people ripping boxes themselves because Series 1's affordable. Last year, it was like $400 a box, so it wasn't really all that affordable to buy. This year, at a healthy, respectable $150, $160, I'm sure there'll be some undercutting. You might be able to find some boxes for $140 by the time the show starts. I think we'll be seeing a lot more ripping in that upper deck rip zone with the redemption wrapper program. I think that'll get a lot of use this year.
It will, and also those redemption wrapper programs are great, right? So
Yeah.
people love it, and
Awesome.
I love seeing what's great about those rip areas too. Well, Upper Deck itself, like we talked about, an endemic sponsor, Upper Deck really stakes like its claim here as the producer of the NHL product. They have a great home at this show. Their double decker booth is incredible, and those I expect a ton of people to ripping hobby boxes. And what's great about that is all the base, either young guns or anything base that people aren't looking for, those get handed to kids. Like kids make out like bandits at the show,
Oh,
walking
yeah.
by and getting their collection started with a hobby box full of base, or even lesser young guns that people aren't looking to collect at that point, who may turn into a better player. You just don't
You
know
never
down the
know.
line. That's
You never
the
know.
fun about prospecting.
Oh, I agree, and that's something that I've always enjoyed. And it's funny, actually. I was listening to I think Jeremy Lee was talking about this too, who's a big time proponent in the business and in the hobby. Obviously, he's going to be at the Expo setup for sure. And he was saying that he started to package his cards up, his base cards up, and he gives away for Halloween, which I thought was actually a nifty little thing to do with your base cards. Stuff that most people don't care much about. They sit in a box, but it could help get people into the hobby and help get other
Well,
kids into the
I'll
hobby.
show one funny thing quickly. If I take a look over there, you'll see the stacks of base and even some of the inserts that I set aside for the kids.
Yeah.
So I just had about 3 or 4 kids come over here earlier this week. Oh, I shouldn't have probably played around with the camera, but I had a couple kids come over this week, and I hooked them up. There was 3 kids, so I hooked them up with a bunch of the base optic rated rookies,
Awesome.
and made sure everyone walked out with a good one, like a Brandon Miller. No Wembies, sorry,
No Wembies.
those stay here. Those Wembies stay here. But yeah, like a ton of the good base and in my houses and white hot rookies. So they went home with a nice collection. And quite frankly, it helps me because my wife doesn't murder me for having too many cards in the house. And like I said, I've opened quite a few mega boxes at this point, and it's 7 packs and 5 cards a pack. It adds up relatively
It adds up
quickly.
quick. And really,
Yeah.
you're only looking for the one card in the pack.
Well, I'm looking for any Brandon Millers too. I'm just looking for I want those silvers. I want that hollow.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm with you. I'm doing the same with
Yeah.
Series 1, looking for those outbursts, looking for those exclusives. I'm doing the exact same thing.
That's exactly it. It's the fun. For me, it's a healthy form of gambling.
That's exactly that's
Yeah.
pretty much what it is. It very much is a
Yeah.
gamble anytime you're ripping open into product. We're chatting with Mikey Singer, who's event coordinator at the Toronto Sport Card Expo, coming up next week, Thursday through Sunday, at the International Center in Mississauga. And for the second year in a row, PSA will be doing on-site grading. I believe Beckett, M&T, and KSA will also be there, if I'm not mistaken.
Indeed, they will be.
Speak to the importance and the value of having these services at the event.
So, the fact that I think I was on a show, Jeremy Lee's show a couple nights ago, and Chris Carlin mentioned it, that typically there's only 20 to 30% of cards graded in cases.
Mm-hmm.
Having the grading available to Canadians on site from both Beckett and PSA. There's some very expensive cards, some very high value cards. And it's not necessarily the most comforting thing sending these out via mail and hoping to God they get there.
Yes.
And then also once they're graded, getting them back and having to pay the duties on cards you already own. Right. So it becomes a big hassle. And if anyone's ever graded, they understand both the fear and the cost associated with it. So, you're not going to undervalue your card when it's worth so much. You want to make sure it's insured. But even then, there's just no guarantee in life. And so for some of these higher priced items, having the ability to drop it off at Beckett, at PSA in person, get it back at the end of the show on a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 card, it's a great peace of mind.
Yeah. I did it for the first time last year when PSA came over. Like, I'm not a big grader. I'm team one touch guy. I like my stuff in a one touch. That's just the way that I am. Like, I've got What I buy here. I bought it and it was already in a one touch, or I put it in a one touch. It was in a top loader, but right away I'm like, all right, buy it, one touch it. Like I don't care to, really grade all that much. But there was one card in particular that I've always thought about grading, but it's the exact same scenario you just laid out. It's an expensive card, first of all, to send out, and you just never know these days. And it was a tops 52 Jackie Robinson, which is his big card. And I've always considered getting it graded, but never wanted to take the risk of sending it out. It was going to be super expensive to insure it and all that stuff. And then when I heard that PSA was coming to Expo, I'm like, well, this is my chance. So this is an opportunity for a lot of people to do that. Like I'm sure many people, even the money aside, even if it's not a super expensive card, even if it's just like I don't know, like an Auston Matthews rookie card, Auston Matthews base Young Guns. It's not a stupidly expensive card. It's like a $500 card, but some people don't have the some people aren't as trustworthy for it to put it in the mail and hope that it goes there and comes back all in one piece. So being able to drop it off and then pick it up, either later that day, the next day, they're pretty quick. I'll say that. They say end of show, but from my experience, it was like 3 hours later. I don't know if it's because I had an expensive card or not, but they're pretty quick at getting the cards to you. I personally think it's terrific that they come in and give that opportunity to Canadians.
They do, and they turn it over, and I'll be taking advantage of it. Like inside that quick show of my table over there.
What are you bringing?
I have.
You get special treatment. You get like a walkthrough service.
Nah, I wish I get special treatment. Sadly, I don't. But getting so a lot of, like I said, I collect optic and specifically scope to 99. So quickly,
nice.
Giddy, OG, Abaji.
Like your optic rated rookies, eh?
Oh, yeah. Walker Kessler. Kyler Murray. Asar Thompson.
Do they do bulk rating though, or is it still per card?
It's still per card.
Yeah.
So I'll send some of these. Like I'll use my account to send these. Most of these I won't get graded on site. A couple of them.
Right. Oh, you could still do that. You could still get them and pay just like the regular rate.
Yes, you can. You can still submit there, and it's just gonna save me on the shipping.
Oh, okay. I actually didn't know that. That is good to know.
And a couple of there's a couple cards that I have that are a little nicer that I want to get done. But yeah, that's for the most part.
Well, because I think that is a good thing to, I guess, let people know that service is still available too. So it's not going to cost, because like $100, I believe it is, maybe even 100 USD, I think, to grade a card for the on-site. But if you have a card that's only worth like, I don't know, $60-$70 or something like that, probably not worth it money-wise, unless you just want to get it to encapsulate it. Totally different. But if you're doing it because you want to get a 10 to make it more valuable, your best bet is not going to be doing the on-site grading, but to submit it, and then you'll get it back, whatever it is, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, however it is. I actually didn't realize that was an option as well.
Yeah, you can still submit there. You can still submit for regular.
Nice.
And same with Beckett as well. So they'll take it back. It's honestly it's a great service. Even KSA, and what's great about the on-site too is becomes liquid, right? Like you get a good grade, and there's lots of people who get some good grades out of there.
Yeah.
I'll even be taking some of my cards in, so some of my autos and stuff like that I'll be taking to Mr. Minty. So first I'll drop them at Mr. Minty, get them cleaned up, and then take them over to PSA for some of them for the walkthrough. Like anything that I think is liquid and I want to change. Like, so I've got a nice, let me see where I can pull it. So I have this Wemby.
Oh, yeah.
That I yanked from the pack.
Super liquid that you can move at the show.
Exactly. Absolutely. So we'll go ahead. We'll clean that up. We'll sell it. And then there's a couple more that I've got the different piles buried over there. But
Do you have any advice for first-time showgoers? Because it could be an overwhelming experience. I've been with people who've been to the show for their first time, and they don't know where to start. They don't know what to do, and they just don't know what to do with their hands. Like, it's insane, and
So
sometimes
so
they kind of blow their money at the first table they go to, not realizing that, like, there's so much more to get to. Like, what advice would you have to kind of first time expo goers? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people who are going to be in that boat next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whenever they go.
couple big, like, let's go with like top 5 tips to the show. First, arrive early. Get
Hmm.
there as early as you can. Get in early. Get parking early. It gets busy. Get there
Yeah.
early if you want to get in. If you want to have the best experience.
Yes.
Second, download the app. Get the app in advance. That will give you the floor plan and every booth you're looking for. So if you're, it's, we just talked about how big the show is. If you want to find something, someone, or anything that's happening at the show, schedules, things like that, get to the app. The app will have all of that information. It's your one-stop shop, and it lives on your phone, so you don't have to stop by any maps or anything like that on the show floor. You are your own map. It's super easy.
Beauty.
Next is bring some cash, set your budget. You're gonna find everything that you could ever want growing up. Right? There's amazing things there. Everything is something that you probably have some nostalgic appeal to. Set yourself a budget. Get ready to walk. Wear running shoes. Lots of walking.
Yes.
Dress comfortable. Bring some water. Eat
The
something in
shoe thing, the
advance.
shoe thing is always is so overlooked, and it to me is one of the most important little bit. Whenever I tell people, like, talking to them, and they're telling, oh, like, what should I know? I'm like, this sounds dumb and sounds like an obvious thing, but wear comfy shoes. Like, you do not like, this isn't a style contest. None of
Nope.
us are cool enough to care what you're rocking on your feet. Wear the comfiest shoes possible because it's a lot of walking, a lot of standing. You're up on your feet for like 8 hours. Wear comfy shoes. I cannot stress that enough. That's almost like rule number one for me when I go to those shows is wear comfy shoes.
And then finally, learn how to comp. Learn how to look up
Yes.
comps on eBay. This is such an important thing for new people to the hobby, especially. eBay is, and I'm not just touting them because they're our title sponsor, which they are, and we love them, but
Shout
they
out eBay.
are the biggest marketplace for cards and 90% of where you will find your comparable pricing on a specific card. And
Yeah.
don't just go for one comp, look for the last 5 sales and sort of average that out in your head when you're negotiating and talking to people. Not every card written on our booth is the final price. Don't be afraid to negotiate. And if you're bringing cards in, again, same thing. Like, don't go in with outsized expectations, or conversely, to sell things at comp value to these stores because they have overhead and things like that to consider as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's both buying and selling. It's a unique show in that regard, where attendees are encouraged to buy and sell, and some booths are there just to
And
buy
trade. And trade. Don't forget
and
the
trade.
trade. Trading
The
is
trade and
massive.
trade nights and trade nights.
Yeah.
Trade
Couple
and trade nights, lots of trading.
2 trade nights, right? For one
Yeah.
Friday and Saturday?
Well, Friday's more of a fan appreciation night done by our partner CSC, and
Mhm.
then Minting does a party/trade night on the Saturday night.
It's fun. It's fun. I've been to the last couple. It's a good time.
It is a really good. Both nights are a really good time.
Yeah.
Saturday has been something that we've been growing for. This will be the 5th show in a row, 6th show in a row that we're doing it, and it's almost doubled every single year.
That's amazing. I got one more question here for you, and this one comes from my co-host Anthony, who was unable to be here. He's got class today, so he wasn't able to be here for the interview. But he wanted to ask if there's any talk of expanding Expo to any other cities outside Toronto, Montreal, or Edmonton.
There's always looks and discussion. Steve, the owner of the event, is he doesn't gamble on sports. He gambles on himself and the show. And I'm never surprised because we even have there's also the Quebec City event. So we're doing 6 shows a year now. And I know he's got an eye on a couple other cities. So I wouldn't be surprised if you hear of a new city in the next calendar year.
Beauty. I think with just like the eruption of collectors, not only in Canada but like obviously around the world, and a lot of people come to this show from like this is the hockey mecca. If you are a hockey card fan, this is where you need to be this weekend, right? This is the place to be, is at the Sport Expo, and you have people literally coming in from all around the world. I spoke with people last year at the show. They came and were talking to or asked me about cards in my booth. I'm like, "Where are you from?" They had an accent. He's like, "Australia." I'm like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "Oh, big time collector. Love coming in, buying cards." I'm like, "That's awesome." Yeah, people from Australia coming out for the weekend to spend the weekend in Toronto to come and look at hockey cards. Like that's just how big the hobby is at this point. It's really grown. I love it, and it's a lot of fun. So thanks to you, obviously, and Drew, who's there in the background, and everyone else who puts these shows together. They are a lot of fun. Steve, obviously. There are tons and tons of fun. So I'm excited, man. We're 8 days out, at this point, and I can't wait. Can't wait for the show. Appreciate you taking the time, Mikey. Any other
Thanks.
final thoughts or final tips or piece of advice you
Just,
want to throw out there?
you know what? Go to sportcardexpo.com to find out show days, hours, get your tickets in advance, save yourself some time. VIP package if you want to get in early, and excellent Australian accent, Mike.
Thank you. I wasn't sure if I should pull it out, but I was like, I got halfway through the first word. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna fully commit. So
you did, and it was good. I have to say, it was excellent stuff. Well, thanks for having me again, and it'll be good to see you on the show and on the stage.
Absolutely. Whoop. Perfect timing. That's my co-host Anthony calling. He must have just got out of class.
Hey, he's probably
Anthony.
sad he missed it.
Probably.
Well, we'll get you both
Mikey.
badged up, and we'll see you on site.
Absolutely. See you next Thursday, pal.
All right, Mike. Have a good one.
All right, so there it was, Mikey Singer. Thank you so much for the time. Busy man, real busy man right now. Like, I mean, you obviously have been in contact a little bit with the people over there with getting your booth set up, and they've been delaying things, and it's taken a while. And again, like they're in a new booth, right? Or they're in a new hall. So like they've kind of had to reconfigure stuff, and it's taken them a little bit more time than usual because of that. But yes, we do thank Mikey for his time, and excited to see him next week. And should be a really, really good event. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate Mikey coming on. Obviously, we'll see him around. And you could tell, too, like just listening how excited he is for the Expo, you could tell that this isn't his first rodeo. He's been doing this for years and years, and it's just like clockwork when it comes to this guy. Like, he's ready. I think this is going to be one of the best Expos yet. And with PSA on-site grading, too, right? Like, you just know, like we talked about, it's going to be a really, really good show. I think one of the best. So appreciate you for coming on, and hopefully we'll be able to do it again.
Absolutely. All right, let's get to the hockey card stock exchange. It's open for business once again, Anthony. We got some cards trending up. We got some cards trending down. And let's get to our players. Trending up. You could start. Who's trending up for you, Anthony?
Oh, for me, it's the guy that just absolutely killed the Toronto Maple Leafs on Monday night, Kyle Connor. A guy who I actually think could win the Rocket Richard this year with Matthews starting off a little bit slower. And he's always been so undervalued to me. I don't know what it is. We talk about it all the time. People know how I talk. Oh, this guy's undervalued. He's undervalued. Blah, blah, blah. But I really think Kyle Connor, a goal scorer on a Canadian team and a Canadian market, that a PSA 10 in the summer was only going for $65 to $80.
Oh,
like,
wow.
that's just crazy cheap. Like, way too cheap for a guy that's even as skillful as he is. So for me, it's Kyle Connor. As of right now, he has 14 points in 9 games played with 8 goals. And I believe leading the league in goals right now because of his performance on Monday night against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And he's a guy that I have my eyes on at the Expo. If you can pick up some of his young guns for the $10 to $15 range, if he really picks up steam here, maybe pulls out a 50-goal season, I feel like his cards could easily pick up to $30 raw. As of right now, they're selling for around $100 in a PSA 10, where, like I mentioned, in the summer, they were going for around $60 to $80. So not a crazy percentage increase, but even still, when you're looking at 20 to 35% increases for a guy that could score goals, we saw what happened with Tage Thompson and his crazy good year just 2-3 years ago. I think it's really possible for Kyle Connor. People are going to realize very quick that he's too cheap not to pick up for $100 in a PSA 10.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, man. But he's been like that for years. That's the problem. Some of these guys, like they get, I don't know, I don't want to say pigeonhole, but like it's been so long that people have been talking about Kyle Connor
Yeah.
being slept on and being undervalued. And like just at some point you would hope and think that his prices are gonna go up. If he wins a rocket, maybe that's exactly what needs to happen for him to get the respect from the hobby. But yeah, since the start of the season, PSA 10's up 31% for Kyle Connor. So he's doing pretty good for himself. Someone else doing pretty good. My man Cole Caulfield, who's got more goals than Kyle Connor actually now. He's got 9 goals in 10 games to start the season. They do call him Goal Caulfield in the city of Montreal. He's a 2021-22 Series 1 Young Guns, and last PSA 10 sale that we saw was $228, but there was a sale from the weekend at $250. And that's up from about, I think, opening night, there was a sale for $173. So he's up 36% since the start of the season.
Nice.
Cole Caulfield is going to be a hot seller next week at the Expo. A hot seller, my friend.
Yeah, it feels like even last year, if you remember, Elias Pettersson was the guy that at the Expo everyone was talking about. And I feel like one of these two players, depending on how this weekend goes and leading into the Expo, there's always one player that's super hot. The start of the season was Dylan Gunther. We talked about it. Now he's kind of slowed down a little bit. Picked up a goal the other night against they came back against who was it? Just 2 nights ago.
Yeah, I can't remember.
A brain fart here, but they were losing 4-1, and they ended up coming back winning. Dylan Gunther picked up a goal, but there's gonna be a guy at the Expo that everyone wants, and I feel like Cole Caulfield should be that guy. Let's see what he does this weekend.
Yeah, actually, there's a sale of 246 a couple of yesterday, so even going up and up and up. And here's the thing with Cole Caulfield: is this can't be right. This cannot be right. PSA 10 Cole Caulfield, according to GemRate, there's only 141 PSA 10s.
No,
Cole Caulfield, that can't be right.
No.
That cannot be a correct population report for Cole Caulfield.
They are hard to grade. But that is not. That is not.
No, that's a little egregious. But yeah, they do have a low gem rate, which also makes sense as to why it's an expensive card.
I think
there's
do
not too many of them.
At the Expo, if you are looking for some Gold Caulfield, I actually do have a nice little card. I've been sitting on this one.
10?
I got not a 10, but we could argue if this is better than getting a PSA 10, but a really cool one here. Cole Caulfield French Young Guns, PSA 9, similar price range, and a pretty cool card. I've been sitting on this one for like at least 5 months. So if you are looking to pick up some Gold Caulfield, I don't know, maybe I need to increase the price just a little bit. But it will be at booth 5606. Implant that number in your mind, write it down on your hand, grab the Sharpie, and 5606, come stop by.
All right, trending down. Couple of guys trending downward. Anthony, who's going down for you?
Dude, it's a tough conversation. We talked about it when I was picking my players, and we were a little indifferent if I should talk about it. But Tim Stützle trending down, it doesn't make sense right now. I feel like we're going to see a big U shape right now, and he's going to strike right back up. He had 4 points last night, 2 goals, 2 apples. He's just playing amazing this year. And I was really surprised to see that his comps for Raws are down to at least $25, which they used to be 50 to 60 at the start of the summer, which is just egregious to me. I do not understand how his cards have gone down almost half of the value, considering he's had an amazing start to the season. And Ottawa arguably is in a position right now where they could fight for a playoff spot. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't say they're going to be a contender, but I think they could make the playoffs. It is very possible. Right now, he has 14 points in 9 games, which is just amazing for him because we've been waiting for him to pop off for so long. So I just don't understand why his prices are this low. As of right now, the PSA 10s are going for around 110 to 120. In the summer, they were going for around 150 to 160. But I do think that in the next coming days and leading up to the Expo, we should see a big U shape and an increase to his prices. Maybe back to that 150 mark because it's just been a really good start for Timmy.
Yeah, I think it's gonna start to go up, especially after last night. Big night for Timmy Stew.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of just been like stagnant over the last little bit, I guess. Like there was a sale for 138 back on October 17th.
Yeah.
And then since then it's been like 118, 119, 118, 123, and then the last sale for $118. So it's just been just like stagnant. But I believe that it's a card that could definitely see some growth in the future. Especially if he, rattles off a couple of big games, much like he just did the other night. So it's somehow trending down. I don't know if he's even trending down. I think we're going to see this thing start to tick back up. I think he's probably a buy now at $120. There you go. That's a buy now for me.
If you need them, booth 5606. They will not be $120, but booth 5606.
All right. My trending down candidate, Steven Stamkos. Man, it has not been good for Stammer since going over to Nashville. So far on the season, I think is he still stuck at 1 goal on the year?
Because they just played Tampa.
Played a game. Yeah. So he picked up a couple of assists in that one game, but he's got 3 points, just 1 goal through 9 games over with the Nashville Predators. So it's not going great for Stammer. And his card prices and his card market is reflecting that. I was taking a look at the Future Watch sales of Steven Stamkos because there wasn't any PSA 10 sales of Stamkos that was on Card Ladder, at least from since the start of the season. But he did have a sale for a Future Watch auto on a PSA 10, and it was for $643, down from like the $700 to $800 range in the summer. So,
nice.
So that's kind of how we're seeing that market take a bit of a hit for Stammer, which is funny. We talked about it over the course of the summer a bunch of times, whether or not this would be good or bad for his market, that he was leaving to go to another city. And it looks like it's not a good thing. Looks like his market is taking a hit, and it could be because he's also not playing well. He's got 1 goal like that for a goal scorer. That's obviously not a good thing. But also just, he's not really like the man anymore like he was in Tampa. So Steven Stamkos is a guy who's trending downward pretty quickly.
Yeah, even too, like I would absolutely love to be the guy that called out Nashville not making the playoffs and then I'm having a tough start to the year. Oh, wait. I think I am. Either way. I mean, it hasn't been a great start for him.
On the back. Go ahead. Pat yourself on the back. Yeah.
I'll cash my bet slip, even though it's we're not even past 10 games yet, but whatever.
Yeah, relax yourself.
It's been a tough start to Stamkos. I feel like because he's been so good in the NHL for so many years, if he could pick up his young guns for a pretty good price, if you see people selling off on PSA 10s, another card that's really hard to grade for a low price, because we could say that as of right now, this is one of the lowest that he's been in a very long time. I do think there's a lot of value just for your collection too. If you're a Stamkos collector, start picking him up because as of right now, he's off to a tough start. I can't really see him scoring less than 20 goals this year, so I do think he will pick it up. But it's just been a very, very tough start for his year.
Yes, absolutely, it has been. All right, that'll close out the stock exchange. Ring the final bell. It's 4:00. It's over. Bam. To hobby news, Anthony. A couple quick things that I want to note. One, Alexis Lafreniere signed a 7-year extension this past week, which I thought was for pretty good money. Like he signs for 7 and change. And for a guy like Laffy, former number 1 overall pick, really started to pick it up last year, was great in the playoffs. I thought it was a really good deal that the New York Rangers got Laffy on. What did you make of that deal?
I thought it was almost borderline a team-friendly deal. Like the way that he's been playing, like
Yeah.
It's really, really in a situation where, New York can look at this deal and say they have him locked up for 7 years, 7.25, great deal. I don't know why they didn't sign him to the 8-year, which I assume is for some particular reason. Maybe through his agent, he might be at an age where, he thinks he could get peak money still. Maybe that 1 year might be the difference. Either way, I think the way that Laffy's been able to turn around his career ever since, I'd say maybe around, was it
It was
last
last year. Like last
Yeah.
year, he broke out 28 goals and then was great in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I'm just
phenomenal in the playoffs.
Yeah, he was
Phenomenal.
terrific. I'm just surprised because like you look at what people are getting paid for, about guys his skill level and his age. It's like an automatic 8x8, like
Yeah.
automatically, right? Like the fact that, and again, no slight. I think Dylan Gunther's a good player. The fact that Dylan Gunther, after like 43 NHL games, they were like,
Yeah.
all right, we're gonna pay this guy $8 million. It's like, whoa. And then Laffy, it's like, yeah, I've played like 150 games, 200 games thereabouts. I'm taking a 7-year deal at 7 and change. And I helped take my team to a conference final a year ago. It's like, wow. Really good deal. PSA 10, his Young Guns 2021 Young Guns last sale was for $186 for a PSA 10. My question to you, Anthony, is Laffy a buy or a sell right now at that price?
Oof. I mean, he's been good, but I feel like he's a sell for me. With all this
He's a
hype, I
sell?
don't know if he's going to be the leader of that team. Obviously, there's a lot of names in front of him. Like when we talk about Panarin, Trocheck, Zabinajad, like
Yeah,
there's
but
Kreider.
think about hobby love. Laffy
Yeah,
gets more hobby love than all of those people.
it's true. It's true, but he won't really be the number one guy on a team,
But
which
he
I
didn't
feel
have to.
like.
Dude, he sold for $250 last year in the playoffs,
Yeah.
being what he was.
Yeah,
He
he
doesn't
does
have
have
to
that
be the
hype.
guy to sell.
As the first overall pick, he did have that hype before it really dipped down. Like people were not interested in him at all. And then
Yeah.
out of nowhere, it's like, hey, do you have Laffy Young Guns? You got his Future Watch, and you look at his cards and you're like, oh, okay, it kind of does have that little. I don't know how to explain it. There are cards where everyone wants to have a little slice
There's
of
liquidity
Alexis
to it. There's
Lafreniere. It's
liquidity
so
to
true.
Laffy.
So
Like, go ahead.
So for me personally, I do think I'm selling off on Laffy. 186, $200, whatever it might be. I'm not really interested in buying them up, but if you
So
are,
I'm gonna say, let's say you sticker it like right at comp, right? Like
all right,
185. You
all
throw
right,
a sticker on it. I walk up to you and I'm like, hey, will you take 170? What are you doing?
probably moving it.
Okay.
Probably moving. I think, yeah, I'd probably
Interesting.
move it. Yeah.
All right, cool. I probably buy
Hey,
160.
I
Is that
don't
160?
have. Maybe I have. I mean, I have. I think I have it wrong.
I picked
I
one
have
up
a,
a couple weeks ago.
this will be going to PSA. So if it does come back at 10, I personally guarantee to this pod when I grade this and it comes back at 10, it'll sell for less than 150. I think.
Okay,
I don't
then.
think his
I'll
price
be
is
the
gonna.
buyer. I'll be
I
the
don't think it's
buyer.
gonna crack over 2.
I do. I think it will. I'm a big Laffy guy. Big Laffy guy. I picked up a 10 like 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
Speaking of number one overall picks, SP Authentic released today, and last year's number one overall pick, Connor Bedard, is obviously the apple of the eye in this product, as it is the 2023-24 SP Authentic, and the Future Watch has released, Anthony, the Connor Bedard Future Watch, the much anticipated Future Watch is now out there. This is what it looks like. Let me just show it here. Where we get. This is what we're looking at when it comes to the Future Watch
Ooh.
for Connor Bedard. What are your thoughts on the design? Do you like it from this year? Here's what it looks like.
Oh, it's a beauty. Beauty. Is that the design though? Because I saw there was another one that released. Could be wrong.
Which other one? This is like the regular one. There was probably a retro that you saw.
No, I think it's the 1 second. Let me just make sure.
I don't know.
1
This is
second.
what's on like the Beckett guide.
This one right here in the white jersey. I got 2 look because I remember this is what I saw a while ago. This is what I've seen.
What's that number to?
Out of $9.99.
That's weird. Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, so maybe you're maybe one of us is wrong. One of us is definitely wrong. I don't know who it is, but either way, for this particular design in the red jersey, I think it's sweet. The placement of the auto is great. The ability to kind of pick a photo where the auto isn't covered by the photo, which sometimes we see, and it just doesn't really look great. Takes away from the photo, takes away from the auto. I particularly like the red jersey version a little bit more, depending on which one actually ends up coming out. It feels like I believe it's the white one, but either way, I do like the red one a lot more, and I could pull up the white one. Maybe if you
I
want to
would
give me.
imagine at this point there's got to be some on eBay. Like it's 11:30 on release day that we're doing this. I guarantee you, there's got to be some future watches out on eBay right now.
Yeah, let's see.
It looks like everyone's. There's a lot of like case breaks, and they're showing those photos, the ones of him in red.
Yeah, there's a couple photo. Yeah, I see that right here.
I don't see any.
I see this. I see this.
Yeah.
Huh.
Anyways, either way, that's what the future watch looks like, and that's the chase of the product. To get back to the original point of the conversation, the chase in the product that everyone's looking for is the future watches. That's one of the biggest rookie cards out there that you can get of a player, and obviously the Connor Bedard is going to be very highly collectible. What do you think that this is going to fetch on the show floor next week? What do you think that number is going to look like?
I think it's got to be like 4,000
raw. 4,000.
I think raw 4,000, and there's going to be a big desire to pick up raw ones. I think also Insanity, but I think they'll eventually cool down to maybe like 1,500 to 2,000 6 months down the road. But the ability to pick up or even pull the Connor Bedard and walk it over to PSA, just 200 steps away, call it, and get it back in your hands same day, next day, end of show. I think there's going to be a lot of people that pull this card this weekend, at least a couple dimes that are graded on site at Expo this weekend. A great, awesome time to release the product.
Oh, absolutely. There's going to be so many people ripping this stuff over the next couple of weeks. Like a lot of people are going to be interested in this card for sure. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that much. Well, I guess right off the hop, people are going to pay stupid money, but I think by next week, I think it'll be back down into the I could see it going for 2, I guess, around Expo, and then maybe falling off a little bit as the season goes on to the 15 mark. But I think that's probably what we're looking at, between probably 1,500-ish, I would say is probably the number where it settles at. I don't think next week, but eventually it'll get to there. That 1,500, maybe 15 to 2,000, I think is pretty much where it'll get to.
So what are you saying next Friday? Let's say you walk up to a booth, one touch sitting there, Connor Bedard Future Watch. What sticker do you think is on that card? $5,000, maybe?
Oh, there'll be a stupid sticker on it for sure. I don't think $5,000. No,
no,
999 really? Of them. There's not going to be a $5,000 sticker. Right? You could buy 2 Matthews for that price.
I don't know. I really think there will be. Even if there is,
what are you buying it at? What are you going to buy it at, Anthony? If you're walking around and someone says,
if there's one at
I don't know what to value it. What are you stickering this at?
I mean, let's just say
stickering at.
Let's say I somehow get one. I think I'm stickering it at $5,000. It might be a crazy ask, but I feel like even the way that he has driven the market is just ridiculous. If I see one for $1,500 this weekend that looks pretty good, I think I would actually almost have to buy it. Because when you look at
1,500 is way different than $5,000.
Yeah, but I'm talking $5,000 being atrociously high, while 1,500 to 2,000 is still realistic. I don't know exactly how many people are even going to have these at the show that want to move them. Most people might pull it and be like, I don't want to move it right now. I think it could even go for more. I think for sure we're going to see a $5,000 sticker at the Expo. If you do see one, take a photo, send it to us. Send it to us on our Instagram.
What Matthews is going for right now? What could I buy it on eBay? Matthews Future Watch Auto.
I think they're 2 to 25.
BGS 9.5 Auto 10 just went for $44,000, $4,100. Raw went for $2,500.
I
So you're
mean,
gonna tell me that someone's gonna actually put a $5,000 sticker and be like, "Yeah, this is worth twice the amount of
hey,
Auston Matthews." No
do you
chance.
I want you to tell me right now on release day what were Connor
But we're not
Bedard
talking release day. We're talking a week after release day on
Yeah, but like,
Expo. It's
okay,
different.
even
Lane
still.
Hudson, you know what Lane Hudson was going for a week
Oh, no.
later? Half the price.
Last week, yeah.
Half
Even
the price.
still, follow me here. Connor Bedard Young Guns on release week, what were they
Hey,
selling for?
Young Guns is a different
1,500.
story. Young Guns is a different story.
1,500.
Yeah, different story though. And I'll tell you this: I think the Young Guns, there's more people in that market. The Future Watch Autos, I think, is a high end product that it caps a
Yep.
lot of people out. And I'm not saying that there's not going to be $5,000 sales like today, but a week from now, it will not be happening because there'll be more supply. The problem is like no one's ripped into this stuff. So the first one that goes onto the market, obviously people are going to bid up for it and pay for it because they're like, oh, it's the only one there. Supply and demand, what it's all
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
A week from now, there'll be a much larger supply. So I really don't. 5,000 is insane. Absolute insanity. Like I said, you can get 2 Matthews for that price. No one in their right minds would ever buy it for $5,000. You couldn't
Ooh.
even justify stickering it at $5,000.
I don't know. We'll see. Hey, come to booth 5606.
Tell you what,
Maybe we might have one.
If you see one stickered at $5,000 throughout Expo, okay, we'll
Okay.
figure out some sort of like bet that we could do here on the show.
Lunch or something.
Lunch.
We'll do like
All
a
right,
lunch.
yeah,
We'll do like a lunch.
You see one that's stickered at $5,000,
Yeah,
I'll buy you lunch. If we don't find one at 5Gs, you gotta buy me lunch.
I like it. All right, I like it.
There it is. There it is. But yeah, so that's the main chase, obviously, is the Future Watch Auto of the product. Another big time chase that people obviously like is the Future Watch Auto patches that they've got, the flops,
look at
as
that.
we call them. This one's Adam Fantilli, obviously, and this one's out of 25. Typically most are numbered to 100, and then there's the one of one black parallels, which there is a bounty. I don't think the McDavid one's on this one, but there is a bounty on the McDavid or on the Bedard
Yep.
black one of one for like I guess 250,000 is the
Cool.
bounty on it right now. And I was having a conversation with my buddy Brandon, who we set up with him at the show the other day, and we were talking about like the fact like if the gold 101 Young Guns was worth $1 million, not that's worth that, but there was $1 million bounty on it. Doesn't 250,000 for the one of one black Future Watch auto patch seem light?
It seems light, but I just think the Young Guns are so popular. Like, even though Future Watches are better cards, Young Guns are like the staple of hockey cards. Everyone knows hockey cards. The rookie card is the Young Gun. That's like the staple. And the 101 is like the card. I think the pinnacle of hockey cards as of right now in the market. 250 does sound light, but I think it will slowly increase the bounty. I don't know. I mean, it's another card that like if you pull it, are you really going to sell it at 250 because the one of one Young Guns goes for $1 million? I mean, is 250 too low? I particularly think it's a little low, but at the end of the day, if I'm pulling it, I'm selling it. Like it's so fast out of my hand. I don't even know if it's going in a top loader. That's how fast I'm selling it. No matter if it's a little cheap, a little expensive, it's gone. I didn't even blink. I didn't even look at the back to see if it's player or game used. Like that thing right there, I didn't even look at the back of it. That's how fast it's sold. That's how fast
what it looks like. That's what it looks like right there. The black Future Watch one of one, beautiful patch. Like look at the patch. Like it is unbelievable. It's a little smaller than I'd like it to be, but it is a beautiful patch. But yeah, we'll see what that ends up going for, or who the lucky person who rips that is going to be. But that'll be a highly sought after card for sure. So continuing on with what we're looking at here, there's going to be some sign of the times. Whoops. Let me put this back up. There we go. Sign of the times. And this is what I was talking about, where now if they have like multiple players, they're moving to sticker autos, even for the high-end products. And I hate that so much.
Yeah,
but it seems like that's the way that they're going to be going. Logistically, it's just tough for them to be doing it the other way. Auto patch limited materials. You'll get some of these. Ovechkin, nice patch auto here. And it's really like a good product for patches and autos. And that's what I like about this product. Here are some of the other inserts that you'll see, like Evolve here. And then there's variations of different color. This is a freshman focus, Devin Levi. And then they've got the bounty program, which is great. You can build an entire Spectrum FX set. And then if you build the whole set, I think it's like the first 50 people or something like that will get, the first 50 people to complete the bounty will also receive a 100 card gold
nice.
Spectrum XM set, which looks like this. So that'll be for those who complete the bounty. And you're gonna get a lot of people between now and Expo who are looking to buy those FX cards. So if you are ripping this product and you are ripping SP Authentic, these Spectrum FX cards actually fetch a premium right now prior to the 50 people putting together their sets, because that's when the second that people get, the first 50 people end up getting this bounty completed, the price of these Spectrums plummet. But like today, they're going to be very valuable and they're out there. So that's what you're going to be getting. Those are some of the cards that you can get. 9 cards per pack, 10 packs per box. And you're guaranteed a Future Watch auto. You get 1 additional autograph. So you get 2 autos of some kind. You'll get 10 of the collaborations, Evolved or Freshman Focus, 4 pageantry cards. 1 of them will be red, and 1 Spectrum FX bounty card, numbered inserts or a premium insert of some kind, and 10 red limited parallels. So that's what to expect inside your box of SP Authentic this year. Box is going for about $600 a pop. So not cheap. Gone are the days where you were paying, $200, $150. I think I remember paying back in the day for an SP Authentic. No longer. The Bedard tax is real on this one. High demand. Like, it's going to be very high demand, but it's going to be expensive, and we'll see what ends up happening with that Bedard price. I think you're a little high on what you think it'll go for, but we'll see. We'll see what happens there.
Yep.
All right. Really quickly, actually, I wanted to show one other thing before we get out of here. I don't know if you saw.
I was hoping. Yeah, I was kind of hoping you would bring this up.
I was hoping
you would bring this up. Yep.
Yeah. So there was a kid. I don't know, Grant. I don't know what is Grayson. So kid Grayson Joseph, I think, wanted to be an Auston Matthews hockey card
for cool.
Halloween.
So cool.
And this is what he ended up dressing up as, going to school as an Auston Matthews hockey card. Look at that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I saw that. My girlfriend sent it to me too. That is like one of the coolest costs. I almost want to dress up as that for Halloween, but I don't think I'll be able to get that much detail. I don't know how he even, or whoever helped him. I'm assuming maybe his dad works for Upper Deck or was able to.
I don't think they work for Upper Deck. I think just, some sort of graphic designer put
amazing work. Just like attention to detail is awesome. Even if you look at like the shoes, it kind of looks like he's almost wearing hockey skates. The mustache, like everything about it is just absolutely awesome. And the cherry on top was Auston Matthews did acknowledge it by reposting on Instagram, which was kind of the goal of. I saw the kid was saying he wants Matthews to see it. The dad kind of said, "Well, we'll see what the internet could do." Well, the internet blew it up, and we all know that what the internet can do when you do something cool. And this is just super wholesome and big fan of this.
TP24, and they were writing about him in the paper, and he was all over social media this week. It was awesome.
Really cool.
Yeah, make hockey cards great again.
Yep.
That's what this kid's doing. One costume at a time. That was really cool. I did want to make sure that we snuck that in there the day before Halloween, obviously. We'll see if anyone else decides to go out there and dress up as a hockey card of some kind. Did you have any like sports related Halloween costumes growing up?
I mean, I always had like the classic, nothing like sports card related, but just like the classic like hockey player, with the helmet. I got like the gloves. That was like my classic go-to, especially like when I got to high school too. I mean, even in university, I would just kind of throw the hockey jersey on and be like, well, I'm a hockey player.
Oh,
Like,
I'm David
that's it.
Pastrnak.
Yeah,
No,
it's like, oh, I got like my Auston Matthews jersey. It's like, yeah, I'm Matthews. That's it.
that's a terrible costume. Terrible costume, I gotta say. What I liked was, I remember when I was in university, it was the year that they did the lockout, the first lockout in 2012,
All
13, when they had half the season locked out. And I remember that Halloween, there was a lot of people dressed up as like locked out NHL players. So they would
right.
wear their jersey and then have like chains and like bike
Oh,
locks and
that's
shit.
kind of cool.
And yeah,
That's
like
cool.
all that on them. So they were like a locked out hockey player.
Yeah.
So it was cool. Yeah, I thought that was at least a little bit more creative than just throwing on a jersey and saying, "Oh, I'm the guy on the back." It's like,
Yeah.
that's not quite the same.
Yeah.
At least if you're a Matthews, you would have at least had to grow a stash.
Yeah, but I didn't do, I wasn't like the kid where I got the work done. I didn't get the work done with the costume. He went all out and it paid off. I just kind of
Yeah,
I threw the jersey on and that was it. I called it a day, had a beer, and that was it. That was my night.
that was awesome. All right, buddy. This might be one of our longer episodes because we're rolling up on
Yep.
like almost an hour. Plus, we got the 30-minute episode with Mikey. Chat with Mikey again. Thanks to Mikey Singer for joining
Yep.
us.
Appreciate it.
Obviously, he's super excited about Expo. We're super excited about Expo. We will have more of a comprehensive breakdown of Expo next Wednesday when we do our show. Yes, Anthony's at booth 5606. Make sure you
Exactly.
check him out at 5606. But yes, we're going to have a pretty comprehensive episode next week, talk about the tips and tricks and what to know about going to Expo. So that'll be coming on next week's show. So make sure that you subscribe and tune in next week to hear us talk about our experiences of what we think is necessary for any first time goers or even any seasoned veterans of the show that want a little bit more advice
Yep.
when you're going out there. 8 days till Expo, Anthony.
Go.
Cannot wait.
Let's
uh
go.
you hitting up any final shows to like round out your inventory this weekend or what?
I'm done. I think I'm done. Last Sunday at the Hamilton show was my last. I think I'm done buying right now unless something like really comes knocking at the door where it's a good deal and able to go pick it up, whatever it might be. I think I'm done. I got a couple things in the mail that I actually just got word I got to go pick up. So I think we're out of here.
You're good. Yeah, I've got a wedding this weekend, so no shows for me.
Yep.
And I think this is a weekend where most people don't really want to go out to any shows because they're saving up their cash for Expo. Because it's going to be a hell of a time next week. I can't wait for it. That'll do it for us here today on the podcast. I'd like to thank you all for listening and supporting the show. You can subscribe right here on YouTube and also on Spotify for you on the go audio listeners as well. We'll be back with another episode next Wednesday, the eve of Expo, if you will. And have a happy Halloween to all those also listening as well. Show us if you go as like a hockey card or some kind. I would love to hear it. Or if your kid goes as a hockey card of some kind, shoot us something on Instagram. I would love to give a shout out on the show next week if that happens. All right, we'll be back next Wednesday with another episode of the Hockey Card Haven podcast.